welcome to the Construction Record Podcast. I'm digital media editor Warren Frey, and with me today I have
Diana Vissers, a workplace mental health expert.
We're gathering here because about a year ago, yourself and Mike McKenna from the BC Construction Safety Alliance, you had put out a video called The Lone Hunter, which was specifically targeted at the construction industry and the mental health challenges that are inherent to that industry, which, there are mental health challenges everybody at the time because of the pandemic and continue. But in construction, there's another whole set of things people have to deal with. So we're here to ask about how that video in the past year or so, what I guess I'll start with what the impact was and what the reactions were in the industry to it when it was shared and how widely it was shared.
Yeah, great questions, Warren. And I'm so happy to have ongoing interest in the project. It is just such a cool way of addressing a really serious issue. And I think the BC Construction Safety Alliance has done just an awesome job of, being okay with doing something a little bit different. And the video, The Lone Hunter, for anybody who's listening to the podcast, if you haven't seen it, you got to see it. It's there's a short version, but also a long version that is a little more edgy. And the whole idea, the whole purpose of the project was to get people talking differently about mental health, to raise awareness and help direct the individual people who have been most affected through the pandemic, but also, before the pandemic too. And we do expect the construction industry, does carry some unique demographics, and with that comes some extra challenges. So we expect it to be ongoing. And the purpose of the Lone Hunter was to direct the people who need it to information that can be helpful to them, to know how to get help, to know how to help their buddy if they see something, to change a little bit of, on destigmatize, kind of normalize the experience, and get people talking about it. Even if they're talking about it saying, it's weird, I don't like the video, they're talking about it, which is awesome.
Okay, and what were some of the results you saw from, for instance, did you have people coming from a part of the construction industry or other industries that you didn't expect to react to it, or did you hear stories of success in that it helped people to sort of go, hey, maybe I should go to a therapist or deal with my mental health problems, or not mental health issues, not problems, in a different way than just stuffing it down, which is the traditional guy way to do things?
Yeah, so I think that it's interesting, how do you know, right, what kind of impact has happened? And there have definitely been stories, people that have come forward. Well, for the first time in my career, I've been invited out to talk at construction companies at their safety days. Many of them have these every year. They have a safety day where they talk about, safety protocols on their equipment and on, projects that are up and coming, and doing recertifications together as company employees. And I've been invited to many of them to show the Lone Hunter and get people thinking and talking a little bit about mental health. And that is the first time it's happened. So that in itself is a huge win, that the conversation is getting in front of so many workers who before, health and safety was different. So to have conversations happening around mental health in the health and safety context has been really cool. And then as a result of those, really interesting, just when you're there in that venue and people, the workers are there together watching this, there's really mixed responses. Like some people were just killing themselves laughing. They thought it was awesome and great, and out loud saying things like, yeah, this is what we need, this is great, mental health is important. And then also some very quiet, not a word is spoken, but later having people reach out, whether it is a health and safety person who was in the audience there that said, hey, you know what, we heard from a few people who came forward and we're so grateful because they actually came to us and said we need help. Or somebody emailing later and saying, I think the way that video portrayed construction workers really hit home with me. That's kind of what I'm experiencing, and thank you. Or, what do you think I can do? Or I have a buddy who needs help. So there've definitely been a lot of stories about that. That have come to me, but also to through construction health and safety association members. One of the really cool impacts is that the BC Construction Safety Alliance has regional health and safety advisors who are the person who even these small businesses who may have 3 or 4 employees can contact for health and safety advice and to get information and support in training people up. And they have added the lone hunter and mental health to their itinerary.
Oh,
so we know that, that even these small companies that don't have a budget really for, for education or even mental health benefits and services, they're hearing the message, they're seeing the video, they're rolling it out to their people. So the message is getting out there.
And do you have plans, or is it too early, to make a future video, or to like adapt to different stuff like TikTok, where a lot of younger construction workers would be, that kind of thing?
Yeah, great idea, Warren. So right now we don't have concrete plans for what to do next as a follow-up to the lone hunter. There has been very strategic approach by BC Construction Safety Alliance to just really get that message out there. It takes a little while also for for the organizations themselves as well, the companies, to be feeling comfortable with the topic. And it has been on their on their agenda for, almost a campaign almost around mental health. But we have had some conversations about what's the next piece, but we don't have anything to announce at this point.
Mm-hmm. In general terms, and since this is going to go out during Suicide Prevention Month, how have issues of suicide prevention and mental health, I've seen concretely, even before the pandemic, I saw an improvement in terms of companies and associations dealing with it. But you're boots on the ground way more than I am. What have you seen in the last 2 or 3 years in terms of progress?
Well, I haven't checked the statistics lately. I know that the pandemic initially at the beginning, there was an expectation that the suicide numbers would be, might be expected to worsen.
Mm-hmm.
But I know in the initial stages that wasn't the case over general populations. I'm not sure about the construction industry. It's a good question, Warren.
Mm-hmm.
I know that incidentally, we are hearing from, the companies, for example, who are bringing the video in-house and making it, viewing it together with their employees, that many of those companies have said they have personal experience in their company with those who have completed suicide. And that is part of why they thought it was really important for the lone hunter to be seen. So that was another avenue, kind of another door for people to get connected with the re-mind.ca website and find another path forward for help.
And that's another thing the pandemic has seen. I just noticed, I'm sure you have too, there's just a wider acceptance generally. The stigma, I wouldn't say it's 100% gone, but there's a lot less of a stigma about talking about mental health than there used to be before the pandemic. So have you seen some sort of similar shifts in construction to go along with that?
Yeah, I think that people are talking now about it, which for many, especially in workplaces, they're talking about it and talking to each other more. So that's what we're hearing, which is great. I think there's a long way to go still. In particular, we still don't have great services for those people who don't have really good benefit coverage at work. And this is a big issue. And I think the attitude shift for individuals for feeling like mental health really is health. It's really the same as physical health, like in terms of how we can approach it. If our own healthcare system doesn't treat it the same way, which it doesn't, it's pretty hard to get mental health care other than, your family doctor with a prescription. So if we started treating it like in our healthcare systems, like physical health, I think that would go a long way, to help with that shift a little bit farther in attitude.
Okay, and I mean, we've been talking about this video the whole time. Where can people go to see the video besides at work? And where can they go for just more general but construction-focused mental health resources?
Yeah, so the BC Construction Safety Alliance hosts this video on their website. So, and you can find it also at re-mind.ca. And this is the idea that, take the time to remind,
Mhm.
re-mind.ca. And there are so many resources on that website. You can see the video there, but you can also get some really kind of general information, but also specific information about mental health and how to help yourself and what good mental health looks like. You can take some anonymous online tests if you like, just to get a handle on where you are. There's information there about substance use, links to great resources, also resources that are, specifically, for example, for those who identify as male, for guys,
Mhm.
um, lots of it. So re-mind.ca, but you can also find it through the BC Construction Safety Alliance website, bccsa.ca.
Okay, great. Thanks for joining us today, Diana.
Yeah, thanks so much, Warren.